You ever find yourself in that trap of comparison? I think we all do if we're real honest with ourselves. And sometimes it can be debilitating to what God has really called us to be doing. Today is a One Take Tuesday where I tell a story, a thought, or an idea from beginning to end with no cuts, no edits. What you see is what you get. Today, I want us to talk a little bit about comparison. And in anything in life, we can get stuck comparing ourselves to other people, other things, wishing that we had something different, wishing that we were a little further in life, a little further in our job, a little further in our skills and in our abilities. And when we compare ourselves to other people, that's really when we can get down on ourselves and we get discouraged and we stop fulfilling the purpose that God has for us in our life. Because you see, God has created each one of us, you and me, different, special gifting, special purpose for this time right now that He's got us in. And if we're trying to be somebody else, then we're not being who God has called us to be. Galatians 6, verse 4 talks about this, that we should not compare ourselves to others and that we should really live out the purpose that God has for us. I think of the verses where it talks about us being a royal priesthood, a nation that God has called us out to be. Ephesians chapter 2, talking about we are God's masterpiece, that we were created for Him. All these verses that talk about our purpose and that we're not just here by accident, we're not just a mess, even though we may think we're a mess sometimes. We're not all these things that we hear, these voices, that our own self. We are who God has created us to be, and we need to focus on what He's doing in our life. And so for me, I know that there's been different seasons, different times where that has really been a struggle. And especially in ministry, it's easy to compare. It's easy to want to be like that church that you watch online, or maybe the church down the road. You see what they're doing maybe on social media, or you hear about something that they do and you're like, man, why didn't we do that? And I don't know if leave me a comment. Let me know that I'm not alone in that. But there's times where we kind of start this cycle of let's see what somebody else is doing. And that's not always bad. It's good to see what else is out there and to see what people are doing in their church and what other ministers are doing and maybe events and sermon series and things like that. But we cannot compare who God has called us to be to who God has called them to be. If He wanted you to be like the church down the road, He would have put you down the road. God has you right where you are for His purpose and for His glory. And again, I say that as someone that has struggled with this over the years. I struggle with why do they have the numbers that they're having? Why are things going the way that they're going over there? Even in seasons that are good for us, then I end up comparing myself and going, man, look at us. Look what God's doing over here. And that makes it about me and not about the Lord. And so I just want to encourage you today, don't compare yourself. Don't compare yourself to other ministers, to other churches. Know what's going on, like listen to podcasts and get different ideas there's all kinds of different resources and things out there. But don't compare yourself, because when we compare ourselves, we allow a foothold for the enemy in our life to begin to discourage us and try to make it about us. And for me, I tend to put more weight on myself in those moments and in those times. And that's not what God calls us to do. God calls us to walk in obedience, to be faithful to Him in the big things and in the little things, and just do what He has called me to do and leave the results up to Him. And so I just want to encourage you in that today. Live the life and the purpose that God has for you. Don't compare yourself to others. Don't fall into that trap, because it's just gonna hold you down and weigh you down, and you're gonna be that much further behind from where God really wants you to be. Thank you so much for watching today. Hope this is encouraging to you. Maybe share it with somebody, hit the like, subscribe, all those things. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, walk humbly.